and gentlemen, welcome to the Pop Art Hunter channel. Today we're going to be discussing the World of Pop books. I have quite a few of these in my collection. We're going to be flipping through some of them and showcasing them. For those of you who don't know, I used to collect Funko Pops. There was a time when I first started collecting them, I was like, I don't like these things. I don't like the look of them. I don't like the feel of them. They just don't look that great. And, the designs got better as it went along. And I had a couple of them sitting next to, some of the movies I had just displayed, and they were out of the box, which I don't really do, out of the box stuff. And that was fine because I wasn't going to collect these. And then I got a few more, and as I got 10 or 15 or 20, all of a sudden it kind of built. I'm like, I better keep these in the box. And then I had a collection of like 800 of them. And I recently sold all of them. I have a few left over, some pre-orders I couldn't cancel that came in after I sold, and then just a couple figures that I kept that I thought would be cool sitting around my office. But other than that, I sold the whole collection. But this is a way I can sort of keep that collection in a concise little spot. Doesn't have as much storage needs and dusting and those types of things. You don't have to worry about damage as much, the protectors and all those things. So it takes a lot of that, kind of urgency and stress and finances out of the collection just by having a book sitting on your shelf. And it's a way that I can remember. I did own a lot of these. I own 800 of them, but I can actually look at this book and say, oh, these are really cool. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the books, and hopefully you enjoy. Let's get started. So the World of Pop books, they're pretty colorful, they're pretty nice, and right now there are 8 of them total. You go to volume 8, and I will say up front, there's one thing that I really loathe about these books. And I don't know if I'm missing the boat on something, or perhaps maybe I am not aware of some additions or something like that, but there's a little bit of inconsistency, and I don't care for that. You got volume 1, volume 2, volume 3. The text gets different, gets a little bit bigger. Volume 4 sort of goes back to that other one. Volume 5 is sort of the same, but it's not centered correctly. Volume 6 is sort of like this one, volume 7. So I'm actually going to look when I open these up, because I've never actually looked at them at edition size or at the editions, if it's first printing, second printing, or something like that. So maybe it's that I don't have first editions of some of them, and that's the difference. But even the Funko logos at the bottom change over time, which logos change, but the size doesn't have to change. I'm okay with the color change. And then even from a color perspective, all of the books have red bookmarks, and then this World of Pop number 7 here has a blue one. What? So we're going to find that out today. We're going to look at the editions to see if there's a change there. But the other thing is, you even notice on the side here, even if it's an edition change, let's say that I'd have a couple first editions and not first editions on the other ones. Okay, perfect. No matter what, wouldn't you at least keep numbering versus spelling out words as separate? So here we have volume 8 with 8 spelled out, and all the other ones have 1, 2, 3, 4 with numerical numbers. What gives there? Come on, Funko. Do you just think you can do whatever you want since you're Funko? Is that what you think? You crazy? What are you doing? Okay. And so let's go ahead and look at these. So we're going to go through, and we're not going to flip through every page, but we're going to first of all look at the edition size to see. And these are again, they're nice story books. I like the texture of the cover. It's got more of that. Not, I was going to say linen feel, but not really. But it's got you can feel. You can feel the little ridges between the fibers and stuff. It just has a good feel to it. And then sort of transparent, almost like an onion paper, but not quite onion. Not quite as thin as something like that. And then there's old Freddy Funko, and here's a little bit of history. And this is the first edition one. So you're going to be getting into some older figures here, some of the more valuable ones. With Disney. I think Lotso is pretty expensive as far as I know. And here's some of the DC Universe. Here's some of the cracking in the book, because this is the first time we're opening it. I believe these are expensive. Martian Manhunter. I don't really collect those myself, but and here they have marked on here some of them that are put as retired. So it almost makes me think that this wouldn't be a first edition, just because they have here already listed certain things that are retired. I do like how they have so many of the figures, and they have them showcase again. It's sort of like having a collection, pop collection without having all the space restrictions. I remember always wanting to get the Rudolph ones, and I never did before I sold everything. Okay, I'm going to look very carefully because I do not see an edition size. Not an edition size, like an edition, first edition or release year. I don't see anything about that in here. So that very well could be part of what is different here, that maybe these were different edition releases, but I just don't think so. Now, if I don't think it can't be true. Let's go ahead and we'll make a little frame here of Funko Pop books. Volume 2. Same sort of a little paper here, but instead of Freddy Funko, you just have the Pop logo. I just do not see anything about an edition size. So it might be something I have to look up. And this is maybe why I didn't like the figures at the very beginning. You know, some of the figures, like I think SpongeBob and like Patrick, it just looks terrible. I don't like the look of those figures. And I remember, so some of the earlier figures I started collecting, I was like, yeah, I don't really like the look of these things. Because a lot of, especially the human characters, you know, if you go into something like King Louie or something, or Mickey Mouse, I think you have a little more flexibility with making those look like a character because it's a cartoon. But when you get into the people, a lot of times the people, the human characters just look like every other human character, and I just didn't get the point of that. You know, like you look at a lot of these, like, oh, he has hair, he has eyes, like they look so, because of the simplified features, they just look so similar to each other, in my opinion. So I didn't really get into it, and then as I started getting into it, then I really got into it, and then it was the whole thing. Downward spiral. Yeah, they come up with they have a lot of different examples, and I also like how they not only do the figures with the boxes and how things are displayed, because this is a good resource if you're looking at collecting. You can even use this as a guide to say, is it an authentic box, or am I looking at possibly buying a reproduction? Because some of the boxes, it's very clear. There's like extra bordering and stuff around some of the cutouts and such on the box, and so this can be a good way even to compare like some basic coloring and stuff. Obviously, don't use this as an end all be all. I don't have a forged one, but anyway, they have the figure with the boxes, but then they also have this kind of like these settings that are kind of set up like these staged photo shoot photography settings of stuff, which I think is kind of neat. Cool. Funko Volume 2. I'm waiting for one of these to get cracked open and say second edition or first edition. And see, now these have the Pop logo again. So now I'm thinking to myself, does it mean if it has the Pop logo here that it's not the first edition, or it is? And if it has Freddy, it's something different? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. Dragons 2. We got Ninja Turtles. I had all of those. Didn't have the SpongeBob one, but had all the Ninja Turtles, and I don't think they ever made a Krang Ninja Turtle, which is a little sad. I just flipped through a couple of those. Sharknado. And some of this is almost cool to see what figures were made that you might not have even been aware of. Now I'm getting curious. Okay, so now we got the Pop logo again. I'll just kind of flip through a few pages of this. Again, I don't want to... It's not that it's going to spoil, because you know that Funko Pops exist, but I feel like it's going to... Yeah, I don't want to go through every page. One, we have to keep cognizant of this video, so it's not 400 minutes long, but also so that you get a chance to purchase these yourselves and find it. Now, all of these books that I have are in pretty good condition. There's one of them here that seems like it has a little yellowing on the pages. I mean, these are new. You can hear it. You can hear the cracking open of the binding there. So this next one here, and I'll just do two at once, kind of looks like there's maybe a little yellowing here on the side, or maybe that's just how the book was produced. But it looks like it maybe has a little bit of wear to it. Has a little wrinkling here where it maybe was opened a little too far. I mean, it opens pretty easily. There's no cracking. So obviously it's a little bit more used. And some of these are easier to find. What is this thing? Harry Potter, Lucius Malfoy. Okay, he's got a weird mask. Some of these I don't know the references to. Some of these are harder to find. And so this volume 6, I would imagine, wasn't as hard to find. I think it would have been the earlier ones that were harder to find. So why that one, out of all the ones that I have, is the more used one. This one's quite a bit thicker than the other ones, it appears. So maybe this was just a good year for Funko. They released a lot of figures. Yeah, these stage photos are almost their own art. Even if you were able to get an old version of this book, like, a really junky version, the cover was almost torn off, and then frame up some of this stuff. Like, this would be a cool image to frame next to your Funko Pop collection, or to frame next to your Jurassic Park movie poster or whatever. So it could be that, you would get a book like this and just sort of chop it up and make use of it for art displays and things like that. Especially if you find one. So if I was able to get a different volume 6, I could then use that volume 6 to tear up and frame some photos. Oh, did I see some writing on this page? It just says volume 8. It doesn't say, and there's no fancy paper between them. See, they perplex me. They're not telling me whether or not it's an edition size issue or something else. I don't know. I just want to know. I'm going to have to research it and look it up. This is Jaws, Andre the Giant. Yeah, I didn't know they made the Teletubbies. That must have been a newer one. Yeah, so those are the Funko World of Pop books, volumes 1 all the way through volume 8, even though they're spelled a little bit, not spelled differently, but they're shown differently. Like, look at that, 8? And then you got 3. Like, why would you? It just looks so inconsistent. Come on, Funko. Don't do this to me. So, anyway, that's those books. As I said, this is a way that you can have a Funko Pop collection that's huge, sitting right on a bookshelf. It's less expensive, it's less stressful, all those things. This isn't to disparage Funko. I love the company. I loved them before they had Funko Pops. I remember having the Austin Powers Wacky Wobbler, which was, I think, their first thing that they sold out of their, a garage, essentially. So I am a big Funko fan. I love their work. But sometimes it can be an expensive hobby for Funko Pop collecting. Because the pieces are so inexpensive when you buy them retail, 10, 20, 30 bucks, it's easy to get a mass quantity of them, but it's not necessarily a quality collection. Some of these items are going to decrease in value. You buy it for $10 and all of a sudden you're going to sell it for 3 or 4. Some of them you buy for $10 and all of a sudden they're worth 5,000. But that's a little bit more of a rarity. So it's very easy to say, oh, it's only $10. Oh, it's only $10. It's only $10. I'm a completionist. So where I got into trouble is I would say, I really like these 3 figures of this one series, but I need to have the other 5 because I need to have them all. I need to have the completion. I need to have the whole set. And so that's where I got into trouble. So this is a way, again, you can have that whole collection sort of in the palm of your hand, because the books are not, there's not a ton of them, and you can enjoy them, you can look at them, and you can say, I did own those pieces. You can be more selective and maybe find a few grail pieces that you like that are worth a little bit more. And this is a way you can also move into another portion of your collection. That's kind of what I did. I actually got into animation art because I sold my Funko Pop collection. I had room, I had space, and I thought, I'm going to go to the next collection. I'm going to find something else that I enjoy collecting. And so that's how I got into that phase, was by purging and letting go and, sending the child off to college, the empty nest syndrome. And I felt, oh my gosh, I need to collect something. I'm so sad. And I got into animation art. So collecting is an addiction, and I don't mean that lightly. There are some addictive things about shopping and shopaholic and those types of things. I'm not trying to make light of that, but yeah, it is something that you can really get invested. Where I went from 1 Funko Pop to 10 to 100 to 800. Things got out of hand pretty quickly. And then what do you do with all of those? How do you sell those off? If you want the best price, you're selling them individually and piecemeal. I just went ahead and did it in bulk. I know I got a lower price than what I would probably get if I had sold them off individually, but I needed to be out of it. So anyway, these books are really cool. Have a whole collection of Funko Pops on your shelf. You don't need to worry about all of the nuances that come with collecting and dusting and protecting and shipping and storing and moving and all those types of things. Yeah, I think they're really cool. So if you're a Funko Pop collector and you're looking to consolidate, or if you've never collected Funko Pops because you don't want to do this, or you've already sold your collection, you're like, I really wish I wouldn't have let go of these. These can be some cool books to collect. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Pop Art Hunter.